أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أستغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق ناصر الحق بالحق والهادي إلى صراطك المستقيم وعلى آله حق قدره ومقداره العظيم. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للذين كفروا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إني كنت من الظالمين. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يرجع السلام. حينا ربنا بالسلام وادخلنا الجنة دار السلام. تباركت ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم، له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض، من ذا الذي يشفع عنده إلا بإذنه، يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم، ولا يحيطون بشيء من علمه إلا بما شاء، وسع كرسيه السماوات والأرض، ولا يؤوده حفظهما، وهو العلي العظيم. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون، كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله، لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله، وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها، لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت، ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا، ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا، ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم. فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. التحيات لله، الزاكيات لله، الطيبات الصلوات لله. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وأشهد أن الذي جاء به محمد حق وأن الجنة حق وأن النار حق وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها وأن الله يبعث من في القبور. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمدا وآل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم إنا نسألك من كل هم فرجا ومن كل ضيق مخرجا ومن كل عسر يسرا ومن كل فاحشة سترا وعلى كل خير سبيلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام.
السلام ورحمة الله.
So, welcome all the parents,
وعليكم السلام.
all the teachers, all the students, and the family members and friends. I always even hope in all these sessions we can invite people who are outside the school to come and attend, because it benefits everybody. We all get enriched by these discussions that we all have among ourselves. And we thank each one of you. May Allah bless you all. Today we're going to talk about Qunoot. And Qunoot in the madhab Imam Malik. Madhab means school of thought. Madhab. In the Maliki school of thought, in the Maliki madhab, we read it in the morning prayer. In the second rak'ah, if we go for ruku or after the ruku. Talk about the background of Qunoot. Prophet Muhammad started it. There were a community of villages, of tribes. Some tribes said that they had become Muslims. They had embraced Islam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam sent to them 70 Hafidh al-Quran, 70 scholars who memorized the whole Quran. When those scholars came, those tribes killed all of them. All of them. Prophet Muhammad was very furious, was very angry. He said, these people are just, they were not Muslims. We sent these scholars to teach them Quran, and when they came, they killed all of them. What does it mean? So he started reciting Qunoot for a month, cursing them at each salah. Each salah, he read Qunoot to curse them. But what they had done is really serious, was really serious. And what I'm saying, there's a book called Fiqh Sunnah by Sayyid Sabiq. In various volumes. You're going to see this, what I'm saying. Prophet Muhammad therefore for a month, he was reciting Qunoot to curse those people who had killed those scholars who had come just to teach them Quran and their religion. Depending on the school of thought you follow, Qunoot is read or recited in various prayers. And I think we should first maybe I told you in the Maliki school of thought, really in the second rak'ah of the morning prayer, not in the Fajr. When you wake up, you have to offer four rak'ah. The first 2 rak'ah are Fajr. We talked about it last time. If you have questions, we can always dwell on that. Whenever you wake up, pray 2 rak'ah first. The first 2 rak'ah, those 2 rak'ah, they are called Fajr prayers, which, as we mentioned many times, are more important than this whole world and whatever is part of this world. Prophet Muhammad said it, ركعة الفجر خير من الدنيا وما فيها. The other 2 rak'ah, they are obligatory. You call them subh prayer or morning prayers. They are obligatory. We can't help praying them. The first 2 rak'ah, just called Fajr, if you miss them, you can catch up. You can make them up once the sun has risen. Till Dhuhr prayer. After Dhuhr, we are not going to pay them back because they are just sunnah. Just like Witr prayer. If you haven't prayed Shafa Witr till Fajr, and you pray Fajr, you say, oh, I forgot Shafa Witr. You can't pay it back because it was a sunnah. Although they are very strong sunnahs. We call them sunnah mu'akkada. Fajr prayer and Witr prayer, Shafa Witr, as some people will call it, they are very strong sunnahs. You cannot say they are sunnahs, I'm not going to pray them. Never say that. Shafa Witr and Fajr prayer, they are sunnahs, but they are very important. For Witr prayer, Shafa Witr, or Witr prayer, in even some madhab, I think Imam Malik, they say if a person doesn't pray this Witr prayer, his testimony can never be taken in an Islamic court. When he goes to court, he can't be called as a witness because he's not reliable. Because he doesn't pray Witr, he doesn't pray Shafa Witr. See the importance. Pray it before you go to bed. After Isha, pray 3 rak'ah. And we're going to come back to that later on. Therefore, when you come to morning prayer, in the Imam Malik that we follow mostly in West Africa, and in the second rak'ah, it is Fatiha and Surah. Before you go for ruku, before you put your hands on your knees, you say silently. If you forgot it, once you say Sami Allahu man hamidahu rabbana wa lakal hamd, you can recite it silently and then you go for sujood. If you forget to read it, you haven't read it throughout your prayers are still valid. Are still valid. You don't have to make sujood for it because it's not an obligation, nor a sunnah in prayers, but it is what you call mustahab. It's meritorious. If you omit it in your morning prayer, your prayers are good. And you don't have to make sujood to prepare for it. No, you don't need it. Because it's just meritorious. It's praiseworthy. You do it, you have an extra point. You get a bonus point. You don't do it, nothing wrong. Your prayers are still valid. Others read it in their Shafa or in the. You may see people who read it all the time on their prayers. I'm sure there is. I'm not sure. Oh, we were saying that today you're going to learn Qunoot. And Qunoot, if you refer to a book called Fiqh Sunnah by Sayyid Sabiq, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam to read it and recite. There were some tribes who had claimed that they were Muslims. They had embraced Islam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam sent to them 70 Hufad, Hafid al-Quran, people who memorized the whole Quran. Therefore, they were scholars. When they came, those tribes killed all of them. All of them. Prophet Muhammad was very angry at what they have done. He said, these people are just cruel. They said they were Muslims. We sent to them people to teach them Quran and Islam. When those people came, they killed all of them. What does it mean? So for a whole month, he recited Qunoot in all the prayers to curse them for what they had done. And in the Maliki school of thought, we read Qunoot in the morning prayer. And we mentioned the difference between the morning prayer, Subh prayer, and Fajr prayers. Whenever you wake up from sleep in the morning, you have to pray 4 rak'ah. The first 2 rak'ah, they are called Fajr prayers. The last 2 are called Subh prayer. Subh means morning. By the way, many people don't wake up to pray Fajr over the weekend. They only wake up on weekdays because they go to work or they go to school, which is a big mistake. The first 2 rak'ah that you offer, which are Fajr prayers, are not obligatory. Yes, but they are very strong sunnah. We call them sunnah mu'akkada. The Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam taslima, rak'at al-fajr khayrun min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. The 2 rak'ah of Fajr, although they are not obligations, he said, these are more important than the whole world and whatever is part of this world. The last 2 rak'ah that you offer are obligatory prayers. To call them morning prayer or subh prayer or subah. For the Fajr prayer, if you haven't performed them on time, you can pay them back from sunrise till Dhuhr prayers. After Dhuhr prayers, you cannot, because they are sunnahs. After Dhuhr prayers, the time for repayment is past. You cannot do it anymore. But you have to pray always morning prayer. If you miss morning prayer, anytime it comes to your head, anytime perform it, because it's an obligation. Allah commanded you to perform them. The same for Shafa Witr or Witr prayer. If you haven't done it, if you haven't performed it till Fajr prayer, and pray Fajr, you say, oh, I forgot to pray. I forgot to pray Shafa Witr or Witr prayers, and now I already prayed Fajr prayer. You will not pay it back. Because Witr also is a Sunnah Mu'akkada, it's a Sunnah, not obligation. You have to pray it before Fajr. Once you pray Fajr and morning prayer, you will not pay back Shafa Witr or Witr. It's different from Isha. Isha is obligation. Isha is obligation. If you haven't prayed it, you have to pray it no matter what. Otherwise, it becomes a debt that we have incurred. Must be paid. To come back to Qunoot, you can recite it to ask Allah to protect you against calamities or disasters. I have seen people who recite it to seek protection against anything they are very much scared of. Maybe even during this coronavirus, maybe some people are reading it. I will not say no. I visited some countries, they were reading it to prevent the war from escalating to their areas. Somebody just told me 2 days ago, in Memphis, Tennessee, he went to a masjid, Juma prayers, they were reciting it. But there were some political refugees, they were reading it to curse their government, but we'll not go into that detail. To tell you that we can recite it in the morning prayer, which is obligation. The last rak'ah that you pray in the morning, you can recite Qunoot, but silently. In the second rak'ah, before you go for ruku, you can recite it silently. If you forgot it, after you say Rabbana wa lakal hamd, you can recite it silently and go for sujood. That is for the madhab of Imam Malik. Madhab means a school of thought. If you don't recite it, because you don't want to, your prayers are still valid. Nothing wrong. In the Imam Malik school of thought, reciting Qunoot in the morning prayer gives you a bonus point, extra point that you gain. If you don't recite it, you have done something that's not nice. Because Qunoot is a meritorious act. It's praiseworthy. It's mustahab. You get extra point, as we said. But if you don't recite it, fine, your prayers are still valid. Some people recite it in the witr prayer. Witr means odd number. Shafa means even number. Shafa means even, witr means odd. Shafa wal watr. When you recite it in witr prayer, by the way, witr is always, as you say, odd number. It could be, it's never, it's even from 1, 3, 5, or 11. Even if you pray 1, you have to pray 2 rak'ah before. Make it go with that. Let's say minimum is 3. Get started. You can also recite Qunoot as the Hanafi, Imam Abu Hanifa, they recited in the witr prayer. After Isha, they prayed 3 rak'ah. After Isha, when you go to Pakistan or Turkey or Indonesia or any of those Hanafi madhab people, many of them in the world, Abu Hanifa was a great, great scholar. His school of thought is called the Hanafi school of thought, Hanafi madhab. So if you want to pray the same way as the Hanafi pray, you have to pray after Isha, you pray 3 rak'ah. And those 3 rak'ah, just like Maghrib prayer, you said Fatiha in the first rak'ah, second rak'ah Fatiha, first Fatiha and Surah, first rak'ah, second rak'ah Fatiha and Surah, and you sit down. You sit in the second, just like Maghrib, you sit in the second rak'ah, and then you stand up. You don't say Salam, you continue, just like Maghrib. In the third rak'ah, you recite Fatiha and Surah, and you recite Qunoot silently before the ruku. Or if you haven't done it, after the ruku, after Sami Allahu liman hamidahu rabbana wa hamd, you recite Qunoot silently, then you go for sujood. And you finish your third prayer, third rak'ah. It's like Maghrib prayers. But the difference is, in the third rak'ah before ruku, you recite Qunoot, or after ruku, you recite Qunoot, then you continue your prayers. And you call this witr. By the way, witr has various ways to be performed. And before we talk about it, we are talking about those ways even, by the way, because we say either you pray, in Maliki, in our Maliki environments, when you pray Shafa'a witr, you pray Isha, and Shafa'a witr, you pray 2 rak'ah, Assalamu alaikum, and then you pray another one, you call it witr. 3 rak'ah with 2 Assalamu alaikum, call it Shafa'a witr. There's another way to pray also witr. There's another way, apart from the praying 2 Assalamu alaikum, praying another one, Assalamu alaikum. If you want, after Isha, you can pray witr this way. You pray the same way we said, just like Maghrib. In the third rak'ah, you recite Qunoot silently. If you want to do so, that's fine, that's acceptable. Or you can pray also witr. But just say, in the first rak'ah, read Fatiha and Surah. Second rak'ah, Fatiha and Surah. In the second rak'ah, you don't sit down, you stand up. You only sit in the last rak'ah. When you recite Fatiha and Surah, when you sit, you said Attahiyatullah, then Assalamu alaikum. They just one sitting. If you want that way, that's fine too. And therefore, with the prayer, if you want to perform it another way, which is also valid, just have just one sitting. First rak'ah, Fatiha and Surah, you stand up. Second rak'ah, Fatiha and Surah, you stand up. Third rak'ah, Fatiha, Surah, you sit down, and Attahiyatullah, Assalamu alaikum. That's fine, that's acceptable. That's another way to pray witr. Or, another way to pray witr also is, you have seen on television sometimes in Ramadan, you see Saudi Arabia or other countries, they after Isha, they pray Shafa and witr. Shafa, they pray 2 rak'ah, and in the last one, it's called witr, they recite Qunoot. Fatiha and Surah and then Qunoot, but out loud. And especially after the ruku. Or some people read it also before ruku. But these are all good ways. None of them is better than the other one. Qunoot I think Tatande Traore had the text. You're going to say it, then you're going to listen to it, and you're going to do the audio and post it in the on the YouTube or in the communication channels that we have for Ilma Center parents and students. Allahumma inna nasta'inuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika wa natawakkalu alayka wa nakhsha'u laka wa nakhla'u wa natruka man yakfuruka. Allahumma iyyaka na'budu wa laka nusalli wa nasjudu wa ilayka nas'a wa nahfidu narju rahmataka wa nakhafu adhabaka al-jidd inna adhabaka bil kafirina mulhiqun. That is the Qunoot dua that we read for the school, at the school. There are various ways. When you listen to television in Ramadan, we hear others, other forms, but this is one form that if you research on Risala of University of Qarawiyyin in Morocco, which is one of the most ancient Islamic universities, especially specialized in the Maliki school of thought, you're going to see that one. You can recite it silently in the morning prayer after the Fatiha and Surah of the second rak'ah, before the ruku or after the ruku, but silently. Therefore, Qunoot is very important because it strengthens your faith into Allah. You also show the oneness of Allah, and you want to distance yourself from those who don't believe in Allah. You want to show that you submit yourself to Allah, you worship only Allah. You seek Allah's guidance, you seek Allah's mercy, you seek Allah's help. And you believe in Allah and Allah alone. All of these are testimony that you say during Qunoot. And Allah is there watching you, listening, and approving of what you say. Because He already knows everything that's in you. But you saying it comes from your mouth, standing before your Lord gives it another dimension. And you say that you hope to meet with Allah and get His mercy. And you are scared. You fear Allah's punishment. Allah says, I won't punish you. Of course, anybody who doesn't believe in Allah will meet Allah's punishment. Of course. But you saying it, you believe in Allah. That's why you left everything to come to perform the morning prayer and stand before Allah to glorify Him, to ask His support. Because you need so many things in life. You want Allah's mercy. You want Allah to open up the doors of success. You want Allah to strengthen your faith in Him as the Lord of the universe, as the one who forgives, as the one who extends and grants His mercy to whomsoever He wants. Qunoot is important. Let's learn it and recite it. Even outside the prayers, you can just walk in the street and say it. It's a dua. Allahumma inna nasta'inuka wa nastaghfiruka wa nu'minu bika ونتوكل عليك ونخشع لك ونخلع ونترك من يكفرك اللهم إياك نعبد ولك نصلي ونسجد وإليك نسعى ونحفد نرجو رحمتك ونخاف عذابك الجد إن عذابك بالكافرين ملحق آمين. Any question before we continue? Any comment?
Imam, we had a question come in the chat. Do women recite out loud as well?
Never, ever, never, ever. Women always recite silently. Isha silently, Maghrib silently, and of course, Qunoot silently. Men recite out loud Maghrib and Isha and morning prayer. And if by mistake we recite silently, morning prayer, Maghrib or Isha, if you forgot it, you have to do Qabla Salam.
Sorry, Imam, is this under any circumstance, like even if they're alone?
Yes. If they are alone, they can recite this to be heard. Nobody is around them. They can recite a little bit loud.
They can say it a little bit loud.
Yes. But it's preferred that they read silently.
Okay, yeah.
Assalamualaikum.
Yeah. Walaikum salam.
This is Fatima. Can women recite loud whenever they're not praying with men?
Good question. So it's good that they recite silently to themselves. But if there's nobody around, they will recite a little bit loud, they can. But it's preferred that they recite, it's preferred, best that they recite always silently. Because Allah knows everything. You intend to, suppose you are a lady and you want to show you that you have a nice voice. Allah knows already that. Allah looks at the intention you have. Therefore, if there is no man around, it's always best that you recite silently. Always best. You want to raise your voice a little bit to hear yourself, that's fine too, because there's no man around too. But best is always if you can recite to yourself. It means you have to articulate, of course, hear yourself. Don't just whisper that you can't hear the sound. Articulate, read yourself so that at least you hear yourself. Hear yourself. Hear yourself. Hear yourself. But when you have men around you now, make sure that you are not heard at all. Especially men who are, if that's your father or your husband, nothing wrong if they can hear a little bit of what you read, recite. It's always best, I say, it's always best that women read silently. If you have your father or your husband, you may say a little bit loud if you want to. But make sure to try to always read to yourself, silently.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
So when exactly do you say Qunoot?
I'm sorry?
When exactly do you say Qunoot?
I say it in my morning prayer.
Is there any specific time when you're supposed to say it, or?
I'm sorry. Speak up, please.
Is there any specific time in which you're supposed to say it, or?
We say it that's why I talk about the schools of thoughts. In the Maliki school of thought, which is mostly in West Africa, people read in the morning prayer. But I say it's a dua that you can do any time. Outside the prayers, you are walking the street, comes to your mind, it's a dua. It's a supplication. You can recite. Allahumma inna nasta'inuka. You can even say it without the prayer, outside the prayers, I mean. If you prefer to read it in the morning prayer, that's fine. When read in the Isha, after Isha prayers, in the witr prayers, that's fine too. This is a difference of school of thoughts. But at least read it once a day.
All right.
Morning prayer, the last two, not the first two. The first two are Fajr prayers. In the last two that are obligatory prayers, in the second rak'ah, before you go for ruku, you can read it. Or after the ruku, you can read it, then go for sujood.
And is it mandatory?
It's not mandatory. It's permissible. I mean,
Okay.
it's a meritorious act. If you choose not to read it, also your prayers are valid. And you don't need to make any sujood to repay your prayers.
All right. Thank you.
You don't need any sujood to repair it. It's fine. Okay? It's a good source of protection. Especially nowadays that the world is in turbulence. Everything's upside down. You need protection for all of these things that are happening around us. Allah protect us all. Any other question or comment?
Imam, we had a question come into the not the chat, but the anonymous forum. It's not related to Qunoot, but if we have time in the end, we can address it. If no one else has any questions about Qunoot. Okay. The question was, what if you didn't pray Duhur or Asr and you were going to pray, but you accidentally prayed Duhur before Asr?
You accidentally pray Dhuhr before Asr. Or you accidentally pray Asr before Dhuhr, huh?
Yes, Asr before Duhur, I think is what they
Some
meant.
people say that Allah knows your intention. You know, sometimes, because your tongue must have slipped. And you say, I want to pray Asr. Instead of saying Dhuhr, you say Asr. Allah knows. Some people say, Allah will forgive you. Because your intention was to pray Dhuhr. But when you stood up for praise, maybe your tongue slipped and you say Asr. Then you realize that, oh, my intention was to pray Dhuhr, but I said Asr. They say, Allah knows your intention. That shows Allah's mercy on mankind. You got up to pray Dhuhr and Asr because you were not home. But when you stood up, you say Asr. You knew that Dhuhr was supposed to come first, but you say Asr. Allah knows your intention, your prior intention. No need to pray again. Many ulama say that. Because we are all here, sometimes our tongues slip and say things that we don't want them to say, which are not in our heart. Our heart says something different, but the tongue says something different. Allah's mercy is there. He knows what is in your heart. Inna Allah alimun bidayat al-sudur. Allah, indeed Allah, alimun, He knows bidayat al-sudur. He knows what is in your hearts. The secrets of your hearts. That's what it means. Allah knows the secrets of your hearts. It doesn't matter. You don't have to resume praise again. Yeah. That happens to many people sometimes. You want to say something, but you say something different. Yeah. The tongue slips. The mind, sometimes. That happens to some of us. But Allah, in His mercy encompasses everything. So Ghafir, Allah says, the angels tell Allah, oh Allah, So, you encompass everything by your mercy and your knowledge. Mercy is bigger than what we think, wider than what we think. Everything is there. Everybody is included. Yeah.
And then we had one question from last class that came in and we didn't answer. Someone asked, is it an obligation or a sunnah to raise or shake your index finger when doing the tashahhud during prayer?
Excellent question. Excellent question. First of all, tashahhud is a sunnah. التحيات الله الزاكيات الله الطيبات صلوات الله عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. First part. We added وأشهد أن الذي جاء به محمد حق وأن الجنة حق وأن النار حق وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها وأن الله يبعث من في القبور. If you want, you can even omit that portion. So Tahiyatullah is a sunnah. And another sunnah is اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمد وآل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد. Two sunnahs. Tashahhud is sunnah, and sending blessings on Prophet Muhammad is another sunnah. It is salatu al Nabi. In prayers, there are two sunnah that are important. One sunnah is at-tahiyatullah tashahhud. Another sunnah is salatu al Nabi. And in many cases, take Salat Ibrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa arham Muhammad wa ala Muhammadin. All the versions of this, Salat Ibrahim. But we have chosen this way. This one we have chosen it. I refer you to a risala by the University of Qarawiyyin in Morocco. It's very ancient university. Very ancient. For those who want to learn the fiqh of Imam Malik, that's the best reference. They have written a risala, a very old book, that talks about that. I got this from. Salat Ibrahim, therefore, has various ways, but I'm not going to go into details. I just told this one. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمد وآل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين. Any Salat al Nabi, you know? Say it. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, by the way, we are getting into more details. His companions came to him and said, "O Prophet, Allah, the Almighty, said in the Holy Quran, Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi." Allah, the Almighty, said that indeed Allah, Inna Allah, indeed Allah, wa malaikatahu, and all his angels, yusalluna ala nabi, they send blessings on Prophet Muhammad 24 hours a day. And Allah continues by saying, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O people who believe in Allah, sallu alayhi, send blessings on Prophet Muhammad. And the companion said, I don't know how to do it. Allah said it. Allah commands this, but I don't know how to do it. Prophet Muhammad told him, do Salat Ibrahim. And you see various versions. I'm just choosing this one. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammadin wa arham Muhammadan wa ala Muhammadin wa barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallayta wa rahimta wa barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alameen innaka hamidun majid. When it comes now to tashahhud, some people, they shake their index finger. Because they say it beats up shaitan. And it keeps shaitan away from them. So that shaitan won't come and disturb them or whisper into their hearts or distract them. And they keep it till Assalamu alaikum and they end Assalamu alaikum. And just the index finger moves. The rest of the fingers are tight. Only the index finger moves left and right, left and right. Not a circle, not in circle, just left and right, left and right. Just slightly, not too much also. See people sometimes going up and down. No, just slightly. Others don't do it. They keep the index finger, or they put their hand onto their knees. When they come to ashhadu, what they say, التحيات لله زاكيات لله الطيبات صلوات الله السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. Then they raise the index finger to say ashhadu. Because it's they bear witness. They raise the index finger, they lift it up. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Then وأشهد, they keep it up. It's another testament. وأشهد أن الذي جاء به محمد حق. And afterward they bring it down. This when they talk about, when they come to any ashhad, they raise the index finger. Otherwise they keep all their fingers down. Because when you raise your index finger, you bear witness. That's why when anybody taking shahada, he or she raises his or her index finger by saying, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Whenever we come out of wudu, also we say that. What do we say after wudu? Anybody can tell me what to say after wudu? Fatima, what do you say after you make wudu?
Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu.
Continue.
Allahumma ij'alni minat tawwabina waj'alni minal mutatahhirina waj'alni minal ibadika as-salihin.
Takbir. Excellent. Excellent. When you come out of the bathroom, always after wudu, you raise your index finger. You see, and then you say ashhadu. The same ashhadu comes. That's why we raise our index finger. Say ashhadu, I bear witness. La ilaha illallah. That there is nobody we should worship except Allah. Wahdahu, Allah is one and one alone. La sharika lahu, Allah has no associates, no colleagues. Wa ashhadu, and I bear witness, anna Muhammadan, that Muhammad, abduhu, is Allah's slave, wa rasuluhu, and his messenger. O Allahumma, O Allah, ij'alni, make me among those who repent, min at-tawwabin. Allahumma ij'alni min at-tawwabin. Oh Allah, make me among those who feel sorry for their mistakes. And they seek Allah, your forgiveness, and you forgive them. وَجَعَلْنِي مِنَ الْمُتَطَهِّرِينَ. Allah, make me among those who purify themselves and who remain pure all the time. وَجَعَلْنِي مِنْ عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Allah, make me among those slaves who are very righteous, who follow the right path. They never do anything wrong. They are always on the right path because they are righteous. That's why this is good to say, even outside your prayers. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم اجعلني من التوابين واجعلني من المتطهرين واجعلني من عبادك الصالحين. Thank you, Fatima. Therefore, sometimes people, they don't raise their fingers, they put their fingers on their knees. When they come to Ashhadu, they raise the index finger. And then they bring it down. So that they bear witness that Allah is one and one alone. And they bear witness that Muhammad, our Prophet Muhammad, is Allah's slave and messenger. But both ways are good. You can use your index finger, left, right and left, that's allowed. Or you can just keep it as is and raise it up when you come to Ashhad. But I want to mention that Tashahud Atahiyatullah is a sunnah, and Salat ala Nabi is another sunnah. We Salat Ibrahim instead of Salat Ibrahim. Although it's called Salat Ibrahim, but we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, because Prophet Muhammad's name comes always first and foremost before any other prophet. That's why we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Although it's called Salat Ibrahim. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وارحم محمدا وآل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على إبراهيم على إبراهيم على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Prophet Muhammad comes before any other prophet. That's why his name comes first all the time. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
You can want to volunteer to recite Yaseen, so we see where you are. I have a reward for you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Who is talking?
Sam.
MashaAllah. Alaikum assalam, Shamsuddin.
Do I start?
Yes, you can go ahead.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين إلى صراط المستقيم
على صراط مستقيم. على إسعين على صراط مستقيم.
تنزيل العزيز الرحيم.
تنزيل there is an alif. تنزيل العزيز الرحيم.
تنزيل العزيز الرحيم. أتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباءهم فهم غافلون. لقد قول على أكثرهم فهم يبصرون. إنا جعلنا في أعناقا في الأذقان فهم مقمحون.
Okay, hold on. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون.
Yes. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون.
Is that you have to repeat that again? Inna
جعلنا في
أعناقهم
أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم
مقمحون. Very good. Okay.
وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا وعصيناه وهم يعرضون. Why is my voice so stretchy? That's all I know.
Good. I like it. I like the fact that you volunteered, and that's very good. Get corrected. You just need to smooth out your pronunciation. Okay, so read first, and remember, guys, you have to use your audios. There's plenty of Quran recitations. To the audios for the pronunciation. That's good. So, okay, very good, Samsudin. I owe you something. Okay, remind me after the session. Anybody else want to volunteer?
Yeah,
It's you.
it's me. Yeah. Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. It's me. Who is this? Me?
Pastor.
MashaAllah, Base. Okay, go ahead.
Yasin. Wal Quran al Hakim. Innaka haminal mursalin. Ila siratal mustaqim.
Basi, you don't know your stuff yet.
Asi, you want to help?
Yeah, Asi, why don't we just give it to
Yeah,
Asi?
I'll give it to Asi.
No, you have to use the bathroom.
I have to use the bathroom.
Go ahead. Stop. Go ahead. Asi, go ahead. You don't have to.
Can I just start where she left off?
No, you are starting from the beginning, please, and then keep going, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين إلى صراط المستقيم
عين على صراط
على صراط المستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أكتافهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا في من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم لا يؤمنون
Repeat that line.
أغشيناهم فهم لا يؤمنون.
Okay, repeat that line, please. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا
وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يؤمنون لا يبصرون. I think that's it.
Okay, that's where you stop.
Yeah.
Okay, mashallah. Good for trying. Okay, good job, guys. Anyone else? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can you present yourself, please? Who is this?
Oh, Tijani.
Oh, Tijani. Which one? We have Tijani.
Traore.
Oh, Tijani Traore. Mashallah. Okay. Very good. Go ahead, Tijani.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Start with أعوذ بالله من
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون قول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلا الأذقان وهم مقمحون.
Can you repeat that one?
إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلا الأذقان فهم مقمحون.
Very good.
not إلل إلل
فهي إلا
فهي
الأذكار.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I lost the connection. I'm just reconnecting right now. I must have missed something. But
وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم.
Okay, very good. Yeah, let's stop there since Imam is back, so we can continue the lecture. That's very good. You just have to read through. It's good reading, but your ayn. In some cases, you are not pronouncing ayn properly, and where Imam corrected you. But good job as well, volunteering, and for everybody who volunteered and continue studying, guys. Thank you, everyone, for this session, definitely. And I want to give a huge shout out to those who have volunteered when asked to recite the Yaseen, Shamsuddin Juf, Basi Juf, our Asi Juf, and Tijani Traore. You guys did a good job, and everyone else also continue doing the great work. Review your surahs, review your Quran, and as Tonton Musa mentioned about getting into your peer-to-peer classes, make sure you have it on your schedule. Everybody has a phone. Although we have parents pushing or parents asking you to connect, we do forget. Put it on your calendar, and it will give you a reminder that class is starting. Make sure before, if you are going to be absent or not attend class, make sure you tell your teachers because they also have other obligations. But the peer-to-peers, all the classes are important for us to continue on because it is remote studying. So let's continue doing the good work for those who are attending classes. There's a lot of students and a lot of people that I see that are not attending classes as well. I think the message has gone through for everyone. Again, thank you so much, and we will see you for this session next week. I just want to remind that there will be quizzes also posted for the past classes, past lectures for us to recap on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.